Hi, I'm Mary Director and I'm a Fun Stampers Journey Coach. Let me share a little bit of information with you first. I do have a blog. It's KreatesKardsJourney.blogspot.com. My business website is funstampersjourney.com/Mary Director. And I'm also on Facebook, facebook.com/KreatesKardsJourney. I'll bring this back at the end of the video. Today I'm going to show you how I created these fun backgrounds using our gel press and our liquid color paints. Now I'm not going to create the exact same, but I'm going to show you how I created the backgrounds to give you an idea of what you can do to play with the product and to come up with your own creative backgrounds. I'm using the Fun Stampers Journey press. And I'm going to use, on these three cards, I used the cardstock called Sweet Pear. And as you can see how I changed the background, going from this to a total look of watercolor effect on the background. So today I decided I would use a different color, and I'm going to use Pool Play instead. But I am going to keep the same liquid colors. So I'm going to use Lemon Drop, Limeade Splash, and Catalina Splash. What I'm going to do first, I'm going to shake these up a little bit. There doesn't seem to be too much separation of color, so shaking may not be a necessity, but I'm going to do it just in case. First, what I'm going to do, these are water-based dye inks, and I'm only going to work with 1/4 of the gel plate here, gel press, because I'm just going to do an A2 size card front. So this was my Lemon Drop. Now I'm going to put in the Limeade Splash, and it's just a matter of, putting drops wherever you want. There's no right or wrong. And when I get done with this, I'm going to mist this with just regular tap water. Now this is Catalina Splash, so this is going to add in a little bit of blue. We don't need a lot, just a few drops. I always keep baby wipes handy too, because this can get a little inky. We have some Journey Media Misters, and I'm just going to spray over the top. Now watch how this blends when I spray. And the more water I add, the more it blends together. So it kind of gives a really neat effect this way. I'm just going to take my regular cardstock. I'm going to put it over the top of this. Whoops. And as you can see, we need baby wipes right away in this one. I used a little bit more water than usual, but that's okay, it'll dry. And then I'm going to gently pick this up and see the effect it got. And I'm going to wipe off just a little bit because it's drippy here. But look how pretty that is. Wouldn't that make a beautiful watercolor under the sea type scene, something with our turtles or our fish? Now again, this is our regular cardstock. I used the Cool Pool, and so you can see by adding this, look at the difference in the colors and how beautiful this has become. We're going to set it off so it will dry. Put it off to the side here. Now I did get a little overzealous on my spraying, so I'm going to clean up a little bit while I'm here. Now I'm going to go ahead and clean. You do not need to clean the pad off, but I'm going to go ahead and do it because I want to show just different techniques that I'm doing. A lot of people just go ahead and they leave the residue on here and then just keep building up and building up. You absolutely can do that. Now if you do wipe this off with a baby wipe or mild soap and water, just be sure that afterwards that you pat it dry so that you get the water up off of it. It's real easy to do. Okay, so that one I just did that. Just a quick and easy way, you know, mixing the liquid colors and the watercolor. Now let's try it using a stencil. And this is called Stained Glass, and it's JM-0008. After you use this, there may be some staining on it. Don't be overly concerned if that happens. Again, you can clean it with mild soap and water, and also the baby wipes work really well with it too. So what I'm going to do on this one is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put down some color. Similar to what I did before. We can, you know, we can squiggle it, we can do whatever we want. Just don't do anything that would damage the gel press. This is extremely flexible, but it will also, if you use anything sharp on it, you can actually cut this. So we want to be careful in that respect. Okay, I'm going to do this, just add some colors in. If you get color on the end of your tip where it's blending, just go ahead and clean it off with your baby wipe or a paper towel. We're going to add a little bit of green into this also. Now with this one, what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to set the stencil over the inks. And you can see they're spreading there. I'm going to then mist it. Again, I'm experimenting tonight to see what's going to happen with each of these. Okay, so this will get the colors to run a little bit more. Then I'm going to put my paper over the top and I'm going to firmly press because I want the color to come through underneath the stencil. And then I'm going to bring it up. Oh, look at that. You can see some of the marks from our stencil. You also pick up some of the water. Make sure you can see this. There we go. Really neat effect. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to set that aside so it'll dry. I'm going to pick up the stencil. And you'll see it leaves a design here on the gel press. So real quickly, since this is wet, I am going to clean it just a little bit. I have a scrap piece of printer paper over here, copy paper, that I've got this set off to the side. And as you can see, I've colored my hands with this. Usually I'm a pretty clean stamper, but with this, not so much. But that's okay. It'll come off with soap and water. I'm not really concerned. If in doubt, put on an apron, just in case. But again, this got pretty clean, just with the baby wipe and a paper towel. And my hands definitely will get clean once I put some soap and water in this, and if I have to, I could use a little bit. Well, yeah, just soap and water should bring them up. But anyway, I have green hands. That's okay. So this left a design here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to go right over the design, and this we're going to pull up the residue that was here. And again, we want to do a firm press so that it's all picked up. And then we're going to gently bring it up. Oh, look at this. So just with using the same colors, look at the 3 different unique designs that I've done. Sorry about the hand there, the arm. This was the first one, spritzed with water. This is, I cleaned off the pad. Then I did the one with the stencil and the water. This was with the stencil down on the gel press when I did the pull. And this is the residue that was left on the gel press. So I have 3 different cards there, each uniquely different. Each one I'll be able to make some great cards with. Okay, now I'm going to wipe this off. I'm going to show you another real neat technique that I picked up. Because I don't want the water to intermix at this point. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my brayer. And I'm going to do the same type of thing. I'm going to put color down. There's not a right or wrong way, just however you want to do it. I'm going to create a little bit of a, just a little bit of a watercolor with it. So that I can create a background first. So I am going to add water to this with my mister. And again, this is just tap water. This is going to be similar to the first one I did for the first step. I'm going to come down. I'm going to pick all this up. Again, I'm applying firm pressure. And I'm lifting it up. And see how I got more of a dotted look to it? A little bit more, whereas this one is a little more fuller, a more washed out watercolor. Okay, so that's one way you can achieve the dotted look. It's not by, just by not applying as much water to it. So now what I've decided, okay, I want to go in and I really want to add some green to this. So I'm going to use my brayer on this one, and I'm going to do bigger, more intense colors of green. And I'm going to come just all over this. And we'll add a little bit of lemon drop too. Why not? Just give a little bit of a variance to our color. Now I'm going to take my brayer and I'm just going to go straight over it. It leaves an unusual mark here. So let's first go down and let's pick some of that up. Kind of leaves little color bubbles or droplets of color. Maybe that's a better. Okay, see how it leaves? Almost like a, I don't know, kind of like a, maybe a snake skin or something. Gives it a completely different look. So that was just putting the liquid color on the gel press and then putting my, rolling my brayer once over it. So now that I've used the, picked up that, I have color all in my brayer here. I don't know if you can see the colors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off the paper and then I'm going to go over it and look at the change. I picked up a completely different look. I can do the same here, picking up the colors. And then there's my final. Now, one way too, I think it shows a little more prevalent in this one. I had dots of color that weren't as close together, and I only used the one color. So in this one, my drops of color came from the brayer right on this and are more uniform. But each one's unique. So in just a few minutes time, I literally have made 4 backgrounds for you. These will make, easily into 4 cards. What I can do, I can now, if I want to, I can go in and I can actually stamp over this as soon as this is dry. So on this one, I stamped the Get Well Soon. I stamped the little flowers in the background. You can do the same thing. With this one, I actually took my stencil and went over the top. So let's use it on let's use it on this one. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to set my gel press aside. I'm going to bring out my stencil. Let me set these aside because these are still wet. Okay. Now what I want to do is I just want to create an accent. So let's try it with the Cool Pool. I'm hoping that the ink is going to show darker than the cardstock. So I'm just going to pick up some ink and I'm going to press here. And I just want it as an accent. So it's not going to be all over. I'm just going to do it in certain areas. And then I can lift it. Oh, this looks good. I'm pleased. Just a minute, let me do one more. Just get the little centerpiece on this one. Okay. And look at that. Completely different look. I combined Fusion ink, our Cool Pool Fusion ink, with the liquid colors on the back here, and just applied it using our stencil. So totally can change the look. Let's clean this up real quick. And again, I'm not going to be overly concerned if these stencils stain a little bit. It's no big deal. They're still usable. The only thing I would be careful of is if you're using any of our mixed media like the gesso or the modeling paste, any of that, wash these up right away so that you don't have the dried product on there, because that will create depth and texture to this that you may not want depending on what you're making. Now if I wanted, I could, like this, I can go in and I could add the sparkle silk. It's just a matter of, you know, shaking this well and then splashing it on. I could add ribbons, I could add embellishments. There's so many things you could do to change the look of the background. So don't feel it's, you know, only one thing you can do. It's absolutely your choice and whatever you want to create. And again, these cards that I showed in yesterday's video, I did the same thing. This one is similar to this background. I went in and I added sparkle silk. On the edges here, I added our scallop silver washi tape to create that look. I put thread behind. I did some coloring with the color burst pencils. Just a little bit of everything. This one has thread, it has stamped images, it has some sparkle in the back. Same thing. Don't get your watercolor or your print from your gel press and say, oh, that's all I can do. Think what else you can add to it if you want. This one, like I said, I could see fish on this or turtle. I can see this being an undersea type, background. This one, I don't know for what reason, this one just reminds me of animals. Maybe the skin, the texture here. The other one that'd be really cute with this is to do the cactus. So you can pull in other colors, you can just change it out. I could use just part of it, I can use the whole piece. When I'm working with this, I'm working with A2 sizes. So they're 4.5 by 4.25 by 5.5, which is the same size as a card front. And then what I've done is I'll cut them down. So anyway, that's it. I just wanted to show you some fun things to do with the liquid colors and how to create some backgrounds. I appreciate you spending time with me this evening. And again, I'll bring back my information. My website is funstampersjourney.com/Mary Director, and I am a full-time independent journey coach. I would appreciate if you'd like to order from me. I appreciate any and all orders. Thank you so much for taking time to watch my video tonight.